Hello, my name is Ilona and today is March 17th, 2025 and I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm just going to do a short recap of some Dutch subjects I taken a look at in my Dutch videos, and I will make sure there are some subtitles as well if you want to fully see the subject and of course the card reading I did on them. In this video I'm going to take a look at some other things. There was one subject I've taken a look at in the Dutch video I'm going to take a look at in this video as well. I'm just going to do a small recap and show you the cards. I still have the cards in front of me. But first I just want to talk about some very nonsense news. And this is about a French member of the European Parliament throws a temper tantrum, wants Statue of Liberty back because America supports Mr. T. He claims that America no longer upholds the values for which France originally gifted the monument. You know, really what you want to concern yourself with. Anyway, other news. There is a Dutch newspaper, AD, who's really going in on Mr. T. Apparently, people are lying wide awake because of Mr. T. General practitioners see people showing up, talking about how fearful they are and how concerned they are about Mr. T. Well, luckily there were some general practitioners answering that as well, responding to that article like, I have no idea what you're talking about, and it's just completely ridiculous. In the Netherlands here we have prices, food prices who are way high, fuel prices people can't afford, electricity people cannot afford, rent, things like that. You really think people are going to be worried about Mr. T and actually showing up at the doorstep of the general practitioner to complain about that? It's just completely ridiculous. But they were really not finished yet. There was another article, it was from yesterday, and these are apparently questions from the people that are, asking these questions, people that are reading the AD. And this is really about Mr. T as well, and that he's probably, crazy. And there's also talk about how popular is Mr. T. And then there are two people here, someone who is specialized in America, Kenneth Manu Sama, who's going to respond to it. And there's also a reporter the foreign reporter Sanne Schelfout answering these questions, and one of these questions is how popular is Mr. T still after 2 months of presidency. And apparently there is some kind of poll that happened at the American Quinnipiac University, and apparently people are not very happy with Mr. T there. About 60% is not happy with all these all these people, thrown out of their jobs or resigning, who have to resign. And let's face it, they're all being paid by certain backed money, especially in that area with American universities. And of course, Politico, who was paid by US aid, also had this opinion that people are not very happy with what's going on with Elon Musk and Mr. T. I really don't believe that at all. I think American people are very happy with what's going on, and a lot of these nonsense jobs and people just getting all this money for really doing nothing, of doing awful jobs or completely incompetent, they need to leave. They need to clean up things, and I do believe that needs to happen in the Netherlands as well, and in really worldwide other countries here in Europe and all around the world. There needs to be a clean up because the bureaucracy, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's just awful. Let's just face it, with all these city councils and governments and all these institutions, and it's just a mess. It needs to be cleaned up. So this was in the Dutch newspapers. And they also answered another question. There was one question apparently about Mr. T being a narcissist. And someone has responded to it. I assume it's the one who was specialized in America. Actually really just going along with that. Not even saying, well, we don't know that yet. No, he's really going along with that. That he's motivated to control the news, and he wants to, control everything. And it's just really ridiculous what's going on here. just amazing. So this is in a Dutch newspaper, talking about some deranged syndrome there. I think it's now official. Not even sure about that, but I saw something, some message that it could be official now. So these are the things I just, let's see what the first thing I'll do now. There were two other subjects I talked about in the Dutch video. This was about the collapse of the Wilhelmina Toren, which is a tower, an old tower in the Netherlands. There were no victims whatsoever, but it was very interesting that the first thing they published was there was nothing going on under the ground. So I actually taken a look at it, and I've taken a look at it in a Dutch video, what was really going on there. So if you really want to see that, I'll make sure there are subtitles. If YouTube works along, then there should be subtitles, so you can watch that video as well. Another thing I'm just going to mention as well was that I looked at the Prime Minister here in the Netherlands, Schoof. Let's just say there was a motion from the House of Representatives, I think, Tweede Kamer, as we call it, second chamber, as we call it here in the Netherlands. And most of the parties who are in the government right now were pro the motion that a lot of money for the rearmament of Europe, that it shouldn't come from the Netherlands. But Schoof is actually saying that he's just going to sign that treaty with the European Union. And of course, all that money needs to be paid by the Dutch taxpayer. That's what's going to happen. So Schoof is taking a completely different direction from what, you know, the parties want. So this is going to be very interesting. And I've taken a look at that as well with the cards, and really to make it a short recap. It was purposely done to also show people what has been going on, and the corruption on such a level, people cannot deny it anymore. And he was purposely, I think, ordered to do it in that way because it's now so out in the open. The other thing I also taken a look at in the Dutch video was about the central bank digital currency. I had a few questions about that in my Dutch lives, and I already taken a look at it, but it was like, you know, I'm kind of like same old to me. Like, it's about what we allow to happen to us, and it will be rolled out in some areas because people need to experience it to understand what's really been going on, just like what happened 5 years ago, of course. But this is interesting. Someone sent me, let's see if I've got it here. This is a Dutch article, and I'll put it on my Telegram channel so you could be able to translate it. It's from independent.eu, and this is very interesting because this is the International Monetary Fund, who's actually coming out with a report against the central bank digital currency. And that there are a lot of risks involved with it. And there are countries who put it on hold. There are a lot of people that still believe that everyone is really trying to push this through. But there are certain countries that have stopped this. This is very interesting. That is Iceland, Denmark, Kuwait, Vietnam, and Uganda. They've really put it on hold because of probably issues. There are, of course, 3 countries that in, I think 2022, they've actually implemented it, the Bahamas. And I found an article that says that only, I believe, 1%, and this is from 2024. So this is after 2 years that it's been implemented, but that it still represented under 1% of currency in circulation. So this digital currency is not that, how to say this, used there. People apparently are not that interested in it. Jamaica, I couldn't find really anything. In Nigeria, it's very simple. Found an article, why did this fail in Nigeria? Valuable lessons for developing countries. So it was a complete disaster in Nigeria, this central banking digital currency. So that's interesting to see. So there are a lot of things happening with that. And the cards I've got, this is about waking up people. So we have Judgment card. This is bringing people together. We have the 10 of Cups. In the past, we had the 2 of Wands. I don't think they really knew how to deal with it exactly and how to bring it out. And then we have the 8 of Wands. So a lot of other things are going to happen quickly. but this is really about waking up people, and this is so interesting. We have for the future the Fool and the World card. These are the first and the last card of the major arcana, so it's the beginning and the end. And this is interesting. I think it is the beginning of the end of course, this currency. I don't think this is going to go anywhere. I think, especially with the new financial system, there's going to be something completely different, but not the dark energies, central currency, you know, the central banking, digital currency. I do believe it will still somewhere will be rolled out. I believe in October here, they're trying to push this through. But like I've mentioned, in the countries that this happened, well, in the Bahamas, it's not very popular. Jamaica, I'm not sure. I couldn't find anything quickly this morning about that. And in Nigeria, it completely failed. And other countries are putting it on hold. And then, of course, this report from the International Monetary Fund, I'm saying this, yeah, the International Monetary Fund is not going to help this, obviously. So this is very interesting to me, what's going on there. Let's see. Couldn't get back to my camera. Now, the other thing I want to take a look at is the autopen. Yes, the autopen. I want to take a look at the cards with this. Oh, my laptop is not really working along. The pardons that, of course, Mr. B gave to certain people, among them, of course, his son Hunter and certain doctor and many others are hereby declared void, vacant, and of no further force of effect because of the fact that they were done by autopen. In other words, Mr. B did not sign them, but more importantly, he did not know anything about them. The necessary documents were not explained to or approved by Mr. B. This is very interesting because this opens up all kinds of possibilities, and I just wanted to take a look at it. And this also explains why Mr. T is so, writing this with this thick pen, stift, I think that's the correct term. You see him signing all these papers because he wants to show, of course, that he is signing everything. And now we know there was a question a couple of lives. Why is he emphasizing this? Well, that was part of the chess. Because now this is coming out and now everything is void. Well, let's see. Oh, we see there's a lot going on. The 5 of Wands. Yeah, this is a victory. This is obviously the 6 of Wands, a victory for Mr. T. And of course, over all the deep state and dark energies, trying to do this, trying to push this through in like the last moments, I believe, of the presidency from Mr. B. We see the 8 of Cups in the past. So they were already walking away, of course, from this. We see the 7 of Wands. So Mr. T and the Whiteheads are in a way better position. This is the end of things. The end of the old, the Death card. And we have the High Priestess. So more things will be revealed. More things will be revealed and coming out. Obviously, because it now clears the way to look into certain things and certain people. Of course, he gave pardons to, I believe, a lot of his family members who are all connected to the Ukraine. And it's all from 2014. Very interesting what's going on there. And of course, the doctor is going to, let's just say, it opens up possibilities. A lot more things are coming out. This is the end of the old, end of the protection. So they're not very happy. Deep state are fighting amongst each other as well. Panic. This is really a win for Mr. T and for the Whiteheads, who are in a way better position, the Whiteheads. So there are going to be some attacks, but it's not going to get anywhere. So that's what's happening with the autopen. Very interesting to see. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is thing I saw. This has to do with generals from 27 European NATO nations hold emergency war council to wargame deployment of troops, ships and planes to Ukraine in preparation for war with Russia. Wow. UK Navy ready to deploy to Black Sea to strike, apparently. Yeah, this is all in quotes, but this is apparently some kind of exercise they want to do. And so this has to do with games. And we all know how the deep state works. They first start with something, you know, they also started first with spreading what happened 5 years ago, a year ahead of time. The World Economic Forum also did all kind of run-throughs of those things. And now apparently they're going to do like a game, an exercise for militaries. This is very interesting. So I just want to take a look, because we know the dark energies need the Third World War. They need it. Their own survival depends on it. This is also from Telegram channel, Dark to Light. I will share it on my Telegram channel. I'm just going to take a look what's going on with this Third World War. I'm just going to take a look at this and what these games, why is this happening? Let's see. Oh, we have the Sun. This is interesting. We have the King of Wands. These are the white hats doing these things, purposely doing these things. Probably some dark energies as well that are kind of going along with it, but this is just showing people. We have the Four of Swords in the past. We've got the Empress. That's a beautiful energy coming in. We again have the Death card. So this is the end of these things. The Wheel of Fortune, it's moving along. I think that they'll try to make it seem, so like I said, that's the feeling I'm getting. I believe that the white hats are behind this, putting this all out, making people see what's been going on, that all these people, the NATO, the European Union, they don't want peace. They want this to continue. They need it to continue to get their money, to keep their systems in place, to keep their narratives. They need it to things they do with the children, keep it in place, to suppress, of course, the feminine energy. And the white hats are actually changing that, switching that up, so people can finally see what's been going on. And all these things from children can come out. And of course, the rebalancing of the restoring of the female sacred energy, of course, restoring it with the sacred male energy that is necessary. So I believe that this is purposely put out by the white hats to show people this. And this is ending. We're really watching the end of this, the Death card, and things will be put in motion. It has to do with karmic situations. So I do believe that it will seem like we're heading towards the World War III. It will seem like it's about to break out, probably aligned with that near-death experience that a certain letter from the alphabet is talking about. It all aligns with that, and then I think people and the white hats will step up in that moment. But we're still working towards that. So I don't think ultimately that it's going to happen. But these games purposely, how to say this, people are shown that so people can realize what's really been going on. And really that all these, the NATO, the European Union, talk about peace, talk about stability, and they're put there to make sure everything is stable and it's peaceful. It's nonsense. When you look at what's going on now, it's all nonsense. So I'd like to leave it at this. Hope to see you in another video. Bye.